Yes, the lips are moving, which is a feat in itself. And I'm Mal Burns, and welcome once again to the Inworld review. Today, of course, being, let me see, it's not Halloween, but you might think it was. It's actually the 27th of October, which means days away from Halloween. Hence the hat. Yes, I've joined the crowd and I dug up an accessory to be seen on screen with. Looking totally ridiculous, but kind of cute. Anyway, we will be having a special show on Thursday, which will be a selection of a whole load of Halloween clips that have been coming up. We started the show with a nice little piece from Valentina, which was a Halloween bit. Later on in the week in review, we'll be showing the latest edition of Happy Hunting, which is a big 15-minute version, in fact. And that too is a sort of Halloween special. And there are a few little Halloween-y things slipped into the mix for later. But what you really want to do is join at noon Second Lifetime on Thursday, when we will start a playlist I've been building up for quite a while for you to enjoy the celebrations of the evening. And it will go on to midnight UK time. I don't know. I think it must be at least 5 hours. We'll see what we'll see when Halloween comes. Anyway, we are sort of in the mood already, especially as here in Second Life. They tend to start Halloween at the beginning of the month anyway. Surprising, however, we're a bit short on guests today. I've got Tara with me and the wonderful Petlove with me. But we don't have any other guests. Will Burns has sadly had to run off to a funeral. And various other things have come up with the other people I was hoping to have on. So but maybe they've just got spooked by something and had to run away desperately. However, that's not going to stop it, because you've seen the show before when we've been sort of understaffed on the settee. You'll know that it's no hindrance to performance. I just know that, find loads to talk about there's at the moment. So my
it appears we need to restart the call.
I'm going to call us back, okay?
Yes.
Hold on, Mal, because we can't hear you.
Stuff away. Content Creators Group actually wrote in the week asking for me to discuss this, and the sad news, although probably inevitable news, is that on Tuesday or something, Lyndon, who's sort of global communications director, Lyndon Nabs, wrote back to them saying, sorry, no, we're not going to have a meeting, we're going to discuss it. Although they did about sort of wanting feedback, because the creative side of Second Life is the most important thing.
Mal, can you hear me? Can I in for
yes?
a second? We need to change calls because you're breaking up badly. So Pet has a new call set up. So if we can take a 2-second break, we will be right back.
Okay, folks. I'm just going to drop our call here, and I'll be back in just a few seconds. So.
Let's see how this works.
Well,
much better. Thank you.
Right, okay. Oh dear, now I'm choking on the end of my bagel. No. Stop. Okay, welcome back, folks. Sorry about that little glitch. We're just endeavouring to get a little bit better sound. And thank you to our friend Lara from Chilbo here, who's in the live audience, saying the sound there is much better too. So great. Hopefully the broadcast sound and the Inworld sound is seriously improved. Right, I'll start again. The Linden Land Terms of Service, of which we had a major debate last week and the week before and the week before that and the week before that, I believe. A reply was sent to the content creators saying that Linden Labs do not want to negotiate, but they are interested in sort of getting feedback as to how they can help resell content, oddly enough. It's very unclear what the content creators group will do next. As we know, they've been debunk Second Life because the copyright arrangements no longer suit them. Others are hanging on in there, hoping that something will change, but we don't really know yet to any great extent. If anything will. It does seem unlikely unless they really start losing their audience. So the letter got a reply. That's really the story. The other interesting thing, however, that did come up this week is that Linden Labs have finally revealed that they are actually working on a tablet version. And apparently they've been sending out private beta invites. You can't really request an invite for this. They're picking and choosing who they want for the tablet version, or the beta, the tablet version, I should say, which I think operates on the beta grid rather than the main grid at the moment. This is something I've been wanting for a long time. We have Lumia on Android systems. We have Metaverse. Metaverse something on the iPad, Metaverse Messenger, I believe, and Metaverse Messenger is principally a text-only client, although it does allow you to see a sequence snapshot of the scene in World. You know, you can take a new snapshot every 30 seconds or something to see what's going on. Lumia on the Android is much more has much more of the immersion, though it isn't what we would think of as a full Second Life OpenSim client. So Linden Labs are obviously working on their own. Now, whether this is for iPad or for Android or for both, or even, dare I say, for Windows 8 contraptions, we have yet to find out. I'm particularly keen to get on a beta test if it works on the iPad, but I would try, but we'll have to wait and see. But interesting move indeed, because this is something I've been saying for ages. There needs to be some kind of lightweight client that allows you, from a communication point of view at least, to actually get in World on mobile devices, especially the iPad in my case. So there is some news there. And just a hat tip to Hamlet, who has actually discovered 6 months later that Philip Rosedale is no longer chairman of the Linden Lab board. Bit late on that one, Hamlet. He left way back in March. So that's the gossip part of things for this week. Now, on the OpenSim sort of general front, we did mention this last week, a new automated hypergrid big potential. Pathfinder, former Linden, Pathfinder Leicester, published a blog on this during / Be cunning and full of tricks. Be cunning and full of tricks, I might add, is all one word. I'm getting some interference in Skype here. I'm going to lower my microphone a bit. Maybe that will help. I'm told they've got problems with my voice. Help! Okay, well, I've lowered my microphone a bit. Hopefully that will help. I don't want to have to recall this again. So, yeah, that's Pathfinder's blog, and he's got a bit on this new system. Sorry, I'm being distracted in Skype here. We're live. I can't do anything at this point. There's something about changing bandwidth or something else like that, but this is the way I normally do it, and I'm live now. It should have been done before. Right, Dayton. Oh, God, sorry. Skype noises, I need to turn them off, but sorry, I'm just been totally distracted here. Very sorry, folks. Okay, Dayton Limited, to a company up in the Midlands in the UK here, had an interesting blog posted midweek. You can find it at www.daden, that's daden.co.uk, and it's all about the coordination of digital solutions for UK-wide vocational training and education. Basically, digital simulations effectively means things like virtual worlds, immersive spaces, and this is all about the coordination of them on a Great Britain-wide basis for education and training. What else have we got here? In the channel audience, I'd like to say hello to Animator Kathy, who's a regular in our chat audience. This morning, she actually IM'd me with a link to, well, I've actually found the original link here. It's at blog.communispace, that's COMMUNISPACE, ispace.com. And the blog is entitled "Online Communities Can Provide the Most Authentic Bonding." And basically, this includes things like Second Life, obviously. In fact, Second Life is mentioned, I believe, at some point. But basically, an affirmation of the fact that virtual worlds aren't actually virtual; they are real. They're simply an extension of our real selves, and as a platform where people bond and form relationships, they are very compelling and very, very real indeed. So, final post I've got open: virtual dementia experienced for aged care workers. Aged care workers can now experience what it feels like to live with dementia. As an Australian first dementia learning centre that uses light, sound, colour, visual content and serious gaming technology to create a virtual reality. This is an interesting use. This is the care workers themselves who this platform is actually the ideas the care workers go in and are given a realistic sense of possibly the deficiencies and things that their patients, the people they care for, are actually suffering different types of dementia and things. So the virtual environment is deliberately not real. The virtual environment is designed to recreate the experience of people suffering from dementia. So very rather more interesting than usual sort of medical use for Second Life and other virtual worlds, of course, there. Right. Well, that's the biggest notes I can find in my general list this week, and nothing particularly new on OpenSim. I did mention the Android app Lumia earlier, and I believe, if I remember rightly, I haven't got the post open, but I believe they also updated yet again this week. And I think they do just about every week, so it's becoming. I can't announce it every time, can I? But I believe there was another upgrade this week, so there. Right, well, with that, before we open up into some more general talk, I'm going to hand over to Tara for her sort of headlines of the week. So over to you, Tara.
Thank you, Mel, and greetings, everyone, from the Pacific Northwest, where we did have a little rain overnight, and a happy continuing warm up to Halloween this week, and whatever creepy creatures crawl out of your RL Sim woodwork and haunt you. I have brought over, in the ongoing Kitty Cat saga. As I think I mentioned last week, there were 3 new varieties of special kitty cats introduced for the Halloween season, the fall season, and I brought one of those 3. Three different, entirely different kinds of kitty cats that are special, and one of the special are these guys, which are of the silly spooks. And they show up great at midnight because they're spooky cats. And the 2 that I have here, one that you only see a head, a tail, and a single leg and a single paw is a nobody. And the other one, who has more to see, is a sneaky. And there's several others of these silly spook cats. But those were the 2 I happened to end up with, and they're quite cute. They're fun this time of year. As I say, they don't show up very good in daylight, but so I built them a little black box so that you could see them. And of course, if this box was closed up, then they would, I suppose, be Schrodinger's cats. But anyhow. So that's the Halloween bit. Yes, that's the Halloween bit. There was one of the blogs that I routinely review in prepping for this show is Inara Pay's blog, and largely because she always attends the third-party viewer Inworld meetings with Linen Lab geeks, and And there was a kind of an interesting item here that caused me to chuckle. Recent updates in some of the beta versions. I think this is actually involves a viewer. Problem has been noted following on from recent updates to prevent people from using recursive resing, which means some engaging in combat have found combat vehicles in regions with short auto return times can have their ordnance immediately returned when a weapon is fired. And this perhaps gives an entirely new meaning to the ability to shoot yourself in your own foot. Anyway, you can shoot. Yeah, I saw that and I said, "Oh, does that mean we can shoot ourselves in our own foot here now?" And the second part of this: any temp vehicles are unable to res attachments even when sat on. They're confirmed that as a result of a feature request having been raised, they're now looking into introducing a special exception for temp on res and auto return timer inheritance. How's that for a mouthful? When reser is a vehicle. So stay tuned. If you're affected by this particular ability, you'll hopefully have a chance to have it not be a problem soon. Interesting, the ongoing discussion of the Oculus Rift. Strachan O'Farrell, who is Dave Rowe in real life, his Inworld name is a mouthful, is one of those, has issued an update for his experimental version of the Control-Alt Studio viewer with Oculus Rift support. And in this particular update, what he's added is a first pass on being able to bring the viewer's user interface into visibility. And his comment is it's important to know that this is only a first pass, and in fact he said it was it was kind of something he had to do because he said he thought Linden Labs viewer with Rift support would have been released by now, but it hasn't been. So he said he originally wasn't intending to do any user interface, but the pressing need for at least some user interface, so I've added some as a stopgap measure. So if you have an Oculus Rift, go hit the Control-Alt Studio website and download his current alpha. There's a bunch of other little items. I won't go into the details because it's definitely into the, if you have an Oculus Rift, these will be meaningful, and if you don't, it's not meaningful, but it's good to see there's continuing work going on in the third-party arena as far as using Oculus Rift in Second Life. So it's CTRLALTstudio.com. Okay, and Mel kind of covered the fact that the United Content Creators of Second Life did have a written response from Peter Gray at the lab, and there were two things that I found optimistic in his actual letter. One of them, he commented, the revision to our terms of service was made in order to further extend the ability for content creators to commercially exploit their intellectual property through user-to-user transactions across Linden Labs' other products and services, not just within Second Life. And so that's been the kind of the most optimistic view anybody's had, that okay, well, they're trying to set this up so that potentially you could sell stuff you'd created in Second Life, you could sell it in their other properties. And what was interesting to me is in the first comments in the community discussions about his letter, people we're jumping all over the use of the word exploitation, as if Linden Lab was exploiting us, rather than understanding that if you are a creator, exploiting something means being able to take advantage of it. It doesn't necessarily have to have a negative connotation associated with it. So, interesting language issue there. The other thing that I thought was I was heartened by was his comment, we are currently reviewing what changes could be made that would resolve the concerns of Second Life content creators, specifically protecting content creators' intellectual property ownership while permitting Linden Lab to, among other things, act as an agent of content creators, such as yourselves, licensed to sell and resell such content. And that his final note is, we are optimistic that we will be able to arrive at a mutually agreeable and beneficial way forward, and request patience. So I think my takeaway from this is that the lab is hearing Second Life creators and isn't ignoring it, and that in the typical way these things work, it takes forever to get stuff out of attorneys. So I think this is one that, people I think are fond of thinking, oh, well, they can just slap a Band-Aid on it, but corporate attorneys do not work that way. So I think my personal viewpoint on this is that those who are being highly negative about this should just kind of back off a few steps and just give the lab an opportunity to do what it says it's going to. It doesn't mean ignoring it, but recognizing that things don't necessarily happen as quickly as they would in a two-person operation, for example. So there was something else that I ran across in discussions, and now I'm forgetting what it was. So we'll come back around on that eventually, I'm sure, or it'll completely fade from my memory. Okay, let's see. Mal, you mentioned, oh yes, the official version, a mobile version. So you've covered that one already. All right. And the other thing I wanted to share was an interesting item I ran across that has nothing to do specifically with Second Life exclusively, but perhaps does if you are a creator and you're looking at, there's so many different new skills that can go into creating Inworld. And there's been this, this figure that kind of floats around that there's a statement that says it takes 10,000 hours to learn anything and really become a master of it. And there's a speaker, Josh Kaufman, who's author of the Personal MBA, who, according to his research, he says the 10,000 hours to learn anything is in fact untrue. He goes on to say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in an ultra-competitive field, but to go from knowing nothing to being pretty good actually takes about 20 hours. Hey, that's pretty manageable to I think most people's mind. That's equivalent of 45 minutes a day for a month. He breaks it down into 4 parts. And it should come as no surprise. He has a book coming out on the subject, but the 4-point Cliff Notes version is first, number 1, deconstruct the skill. Decide what you actually want to be able to do. Number 2, learn enough to self-correct. That means learning just enough so that you can actually tell when you're making a mistake. Number 3, remove practice barriers, i.e. remove distractions, such as yes, the internet, and practice at least 20 hours. So there you have it. So if you, like me, have dabbled for a few hours here and there in trying to get your head wrapped around working with mesh, a couple hours isn't going to do it. But if you really focus and decide you want to do a particular thing, if you put about 20 hours into it, you probably have what you need to be functional in it. So there you have it. And that's it for me for now. So back to you, Mel.
Well, thank you, Tyler. While you were chatting, I've been trying to put more links into my browser for my Inworld stream, and it's crashing. There is a link which is about Native American history in Second Life, and every time I try to load it, it crashes the browser. So we'll come back to that. Okay, I'd also like to welcome Petlove, who's on my other side here. Welcome, Petlove.
And thank you. Hi.
Thank you, indeed, for being here, for keeping us company and
keeping you honest, huh?
As ever, doing here. Yeah. Now you also, of course, well, you are actually you don't. As I don't know, you do film designing worlds, do you? But you, I mean, we certainly know you work with Sapphire quite a lot. As well, the Pussycat knows this too, actually. However,
I don't
in
work with
the
designing worlds though. I
yeah,
pinch hit
in
it
the
once.
right. In the absence of Sapphire, though, I should say that on Tuesday they are recording a Designing World special with a panel for the people to talk about. Guess what? The Linden Live
You'll
terms of
never guess,
service.
right?
And I should point out, if you check out the blog at primperfect.com, Sapphire actually has put out an appeal for questions and stuff like that to put to this panels. So they're looking to hear what you folks there want, so they can actually compile a list of questions. You know, the
Do you
audience
have
wants
one?
to hear it.
Do you have a question for them, Mal, by any chance?
Do I?
Have you thought of one?
Mm, No, not yet. I mean, I'm full of questions. I could probably host a show, but I mean, I haven't got a specific question in mind. No, I mean, I've probably asked all the questions I can think of asking during the discussions we've had here. My main question will probably be what next now that Linden Labs have replied in not wholeheartedly.
I thought it was a
cooperative
nice
manner.
reply. It was a good reply. You know,
It was drafted nice. It read well.
it was substantive
But
too. It was substantive
yeah,
enough for a beginning. You know, you have to give him a little bit of credit. Not a whole lot.
yeah. I mean, Pete Linden,
Just kidding.
Pete Linden is a nice guy, and it's sort of, but as we so often say, it's lawyers buzzing around here in the background who probably don't know what on earth they're.
As long as they do. We lost you, Scott, Mal. Lost you. I will
You
recall the
lost
group.
me.
Yeah, your audio went out.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing Skype fine at my end, but okay, ladies and gentlemen, please stand by while we do another audio recall. I'm And with that, I hope we're back.
Thank you.
I've certainly got a bit of the old lip flap on, so I think we're back. Yeah, so the letter was pleasant enough and detailed enough, but it said there's no chance of retracting or going back to the former terms of service. That was very clear. So yeah, something we have to live with. I guess. But Tuesday's panel, as have all the panels here and elsewhere on the subject, could well be very interesting. And I guess actually, if that's on Tuesday, I guess the actual program will be shown a week tomorrow. I'll have to confirm that. But if you want to be there in the live audience, I guess Tuesday is the day. What else? What else is new on your front, Petlove? While I
Um,
get my browser working.
all I can say is everybody hold your breath for the release of the Black and Mirror. It's imminent. Excuse me. It's really just coming together brilliantly and efficiently. We're breaking ground in efficient production methods. I think we could write a book on it in Second Life here, or I guess any virtual, internationally global virtual platform. So that's exciting, and the TOS, of course, is
And it
fascinating.
can let a cat out. I can let a cat out of the hat here.
Okay, you
Can't
already
I
have.
feel that a certain normal me, feline in nature, had a cameo in the Black and Mirror this week. I'm not telling, but yes, the red cat becomes somewhat agitated and active
It's a
as
show
a result of certain events.
for everybody. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm betting that when it actually was all put together, it will be 15 seconds of fame for the cat.
But
It
15
will,
seconds
it,
becomes an eternity on celluloid and in
Oh yes,
pixels.
this is true. Yes, it lives forever.
Yeah, so just wanted to point that out. Sorry, Mal.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna flip back. I'm not gonna dare click on this link again, but I think I can figure out where it is. There is a website called www.vice.com. That's VICE. I wonder if this has anything to do with the fact it's crashing my browser, but it's not. It's actually Vice Canada, and I think it's a magazine. I don't think it has to do with Vice per se.
Let's hope not.
But basically, the post, which I'm not going to even try opening again, actually has a rather nice article. No, cancel, please, cancel. Yeah, www.vice.com. October 25th, they had quite a nice article on First Nations artist recreates 10 smokes in native history in Second Life. And it's about, it's a recreation in Second Life, dealing with encounters. The initial picture, it's like, I don't know, the first sort of American cowboy encounters, first American Indian, native Indian or something. It's a recreation of tense moments in the cultural collide, so to speak. And I thought that was rather interesting. I haven't actually visited the recreation, and as I said, even getting to the link for it at the moment means it's crashing me. But I think that might have something to do with Scoop It, which is where I actually saved the link. So very, very interesting stuff there. Now, the other thing that has been,
if I might interject, what is known in Canada as First Nations, which refers to their indigenous tribes, are probably, I would say, more a bigger percentage of the population, perhaps, in Canada than the Native Americans are in the U.S. And also, they reach settlements that there's a significant portion of within the Arctic, kind of the northern part of Canada into the Arctic region, that is basically under complete indigenous control.
That's nice.
So the situation there is a tad different as far as what has happened in modern times compared with the U.S. The tribal treaties and what have you involved. I have no idea, but I do know that's the case. That there's a much higher independent recognition in Canada for their
That's really
First
nice.
Nation.
It's
Yeah.
a shame the United States history couldn't have done the same type of thing. How different would it be now?
Uh-huh.
It might have
Yeah,
been
well,
very
this is
interesting.
yeah. I think these are changes that have happened in contemporary times, but it's been a different. It's wound its way through their system differently than the very piecemeal kind of one little tribe at a time situation that has been the situation in the U.S.
Interesting.
Yeah, I made it. I was so intense on reading that piece out, so I completely forgot we were actually talking about Canada there as opposed to US. So
Yeah.
obviously, the history, there are parallels, but the history is actually rather different. But intriguing nonetheless. Certainly, something to check out for its educational value by the sound of it. Now, the other thing that's been happening this week, of course, I don't know how much we know about it, is Burn 2. This is Burn 2 used to be called Burning Life, and is like the Second Life incarnation of the Burning Man Festival. It happened Man Festival, so but Burn 2 happens a few weeks later. And it's always been a major highlight of the Second Life here, possibly because Philip Rosedale, who of course had a Second Life originally, influenced by the festival where he designed what the platform would be to all intents and purposes. The events, there've been loads of stuff going on. Daniel Voyager, of course, has Daniel Voyager WordPress.com has been reporting. But one thing I found very interesting during the course of the week, the latest post was yesterday, is a blog called millionhappyendings.wordpress.com. And yesterday's post was Burn 2 Part 5. And Friday's post was Part 4. And Thursday's part was, you get the idea. They've basically been doing Burn 2, Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all weeks. And sort of just giving a comment, just a daily commentary on what's been going on there. Coming up after this show on the main channel in the Week in Review playlist, we have, I think we got 3, or it might even be, no, actually, I think we've got more like 4 clips from Burn 2, which will be showing. And we have 3 clips from the Rebecca Bashley installation that I mentioned last week as well. But yes, have you been following Burn 2, Petlove, Tara?
I have not. I'm sorry to say. I'm going to try to get there.
Yeah, I have not gotten there either, unfortunately.
I think this show is the only place I've heard anybody say anything about it. You know, they don't seem to be pumping things out there the way they have in the past. I'm making a note to remind myself to go there.
Yeah, well, I think today is your last day, so
that's cool. I'll go after the show. I'm due some R&R.
By the way, I think they've done a burn or something. I did some.
Yes, there. I know there was a burn.
Yeah, whether that was a test run and they're doing a final burn or what, I'm not quite sure. It's a very odd thing. I guess this is down to Inworld Communications. I saw a lot of coverage on it in my news feeds, on the blogs and things like that. And I think I got a couple of IMs about it in
That's cool.
But for what has always been such a major part of what's going on in second. Yeah, it does seem to be quiet. I wonder if it's due times and the communication systems in world and not what they, are not what they used to be. I every time I log in, I've got deliveries, IMs capped, deliveries capped, and then I read the ones that are there, and you get so much information coming in. I think most of the stuff I've had to this week has been to do with AView TV or the LEA, including something that, of course, typically is going on at the same time as this show. So it's almost like there's too much going on, and it's hard to actually filter out the priorities. And I have to say, from previous years, when I went along and tried to film some clips of Burn 2, I sort of crashed or lagged spectacularly and didn't really get very far because it is a very highly subscribed event. There are a heck of a lot of people there, publicity or no publicity.
Well, that's good.
Right, so that was Burn 2. As Tara mentioned, always good blogs throughout the week from Inara Prey. I'm nothing specific to mention here, and of course the same for Anna Macmillan, who I was also hoping to get on the show today because she hasn't been here for a while. Plenty of destinations every day at AnnaMacmillanWordPress.com. The only other one I've actually sort of got to mention, so to speak, there was a summary of this at SL Newser Design blogspot.com. That's SL Newser Design, all one word. And it was about Gracie Kendall's goodbye to Second Life staff. Now, Gracie Kendall is an artist in Second Life and in fact. And her latest, well, I won't say installation, but more of a performance really, has been emptying out publicly her entire Second Life inventory in no doubt an artistic fashion. But she has for a rather long while, so I'm pleased to say that earlier this week, the final emptying of the very last dregs of the so all this is over, so to speak. But this is actually a transition, and I suspect, more importantly, a live audience. And what the stuff's dragging out. And if I did a performance like this, I'd be here 3 years just doing the performance. so much in my inventory. Fascinating idea. Anyway, one wonder what gems. A lot of people are moaning that she was throwing stuff away, and rather than throw it away, they wanted to have it. And of course, all this stuff being Second Life, it's not like a garage sale or a garage clear out. You can't give it away because there's no transfer. So a lot of people are rather upset about deleting. So they wanted the freebies and they didn't get them. But interesting anyway. Grace is great fun. So, believe it or not, I've come to the end of my sort of prompts, so to speak. This could well end up being a short show for once.
I can extend it. I just remembered something I could tell you about.
I was just thinking, you were chatting away about various things before we started the show. So, yes, Pet. Carry on.
This one, I don't think you heard, but did you just say OBR? Because that's what it's about. No. 1 Billion Rising is coming back again to Second Life.
Oh, no, I didn't know
It'll be
this.
a yearly event. It will be a yearly event, as long as there are people to forward it. A very, very early organizational meeting took place this past week. So you can look forward to that. Oh, and I would like to put out I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Do we know when?
I was going to say, we need camera people. And I'd like to put a plea out to your viewing public that if anybody is interested, even literally remotely interested in learning how to do virtual camera work, I would love to train them. But they have to promise to work a shift during the 24-hour event, which I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it's a couple of months away, a month or two away, I think. I hope.
It might be good to refresh our viewing audience on what the
cause is.
Mm-hmm.
1 Billion Rising, of course, is the international movement. Again, it's for women's rights. It's against violence against women, to call attention to the issue and to help women overcome any obstacles that they face of that nature, which is awful, of course. Which is why we're doing it, because it's gotten to the point where the whole world, people in every country in the world, I think they had 181 countries represented last year, something like that. I'm so sorry. Sorry. So
this is. Yeah, I just gonna say this is while you're being distracted. This is.
I stuck it in the drawer. Sorry.
Why they may. Right. Yeah, this is the perfect thing about Second Life and similar platforms. The coming together of people from just about every country in the world if they need to celebrate things like this. And one of the things, of course, I remember most is that wonderful music video you did for the sort of anthem last year, Machinima.
That was quite a video.
But I'm trying to remember. There was quite a lot more than there's quite a big broadcast of this. I'm just trying to think.
We had a 24-hour event, and there are some films from it. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what channel it was on. I don't think it was here.
Well, A View carries my videos, and I made like 2 or 3 of them, and lots of other people did too. So you can probably find them on aviewtv.com. And I'm sure you ran some too.
Oh yes, yes, indeed. The clips can be found around. I just had a feeling there was a live stream channel that covered it, and I'm just wondering if the footage is still there. It wasn't. I can't remember which channel it was broadcast on. Is the point?
A View covered it. It was A View. A View streamed it.
That's where you.
That was the studio. Sorry, I lost
it
your
wasn't
voice.
in the okay, I've got you right. So if you go to livestream.com AVTV, you might very well find in the playlist there. There's they've still got the records of last year's event, which was absolutely great. As to say, it went on for 24 hours and non-stop. Yep. So yes, anybody out there who wants some free camera training, all you got to do is commit yourself
to 1 6 to 8 hour shift, and we can negotiate.
Yeah. What we want is to get you there, and we want some help with broadcasting this for 24 hours.
Good opportunity for good opportunity for some
we
camera
even took people
training.
for 1 or 2 hours last year. I shouldn't say 6 to 8 hour shift only. Anything that you can fit in, but the more time the better. And anyway, yeah, I thought I would take advantage of your show, Mal, and thank you for the opportunity to put that out there. And once you have filming skills, you can use them in so many different ways, and especially in Second Life. You guys know better than anybody with all of your explorations and the things that you find that are so fantastic.
Indeed.
Well, and the other thing that anyone who has at least even just an interest in video of any kind,
right?
That fiddling with it with Machinima in Second Life is a very low cost thing to check out.
Indeed.
It's not there's like one or two little tools that will get you going and will keep you going a long ways.
That's true. Windows Movie Maker is free for editing. There are some free screen capture programs that are quite good. It can be done on what's it called? Not a dime. What's the expression? A whistle and a prayer. Of course, you want to really do it well.
A budget. A wing and a
prayer. That's what I was
looking for. A wing and a prayer.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. It's not, that isn't to me. That shouldn't be taken to mean you don't take it seriously. But for people wanting to make films and things, it is a really good way in at low cost.
Sure is.
So,
yeah. Well, and also very timely and related to that same thing. Launched just a couple of days ago. There's a massive MOOC, massive online course on the future of storytelling, and it just started, and it's free.
Really?
Yeah. They've only got 45,000 people signed up.
The human race loves to tell its story.
Oh, wait a minute. It's 16,000 students are on board.
What's the website for that?
Just a minute. I'm going to give you a URL.
Okay.
It's iversity.org. iversity.org.
SETY?
iversity.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
.org.
I'll be looking that up.
And it's one of several classes, but it's called The Future of Storytelling. And you can sign up for free. It's an 8-chapter course. Started on Friday and runs through the end of December. Really interesting. I actually signed up for it. I haven't actually looked at the first lesson, which has just posted here a couple days ago.
Awesome.
But it's an intriguing set of storytelling basics, serial formats on TV, the web, and beyond, storytelling and role-playing games, interactive storytelling and video games, transmedia storytelling, alternate reality gaming, augmented reality and location-based storytelling, and the role of tools, interfaces, and information architectures in current storytelling. So it's some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. Good.
I remember when announced actually. It's very interesting. These MOOC things do seem to be getting a lot of attraction. A lot of people, because they do tend to be a web-based course rather than requiring you to be in a virtual world or something most of the time. But a few months ago we broadcast the virtual world's best practices in education. A lot of the workshops and things that in previous years have been part of that were actually put off because they were going to be sort of ongoing MOOCs that are running. They're still running right now. So the conference is over, but all these courses that were part of the conference are just continuing, and just seem to get a lot of traction. So this is education of the future, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's the whole business of online education has been steadily increasing and expanding since the early 90s, which is when I first connected with some folks who were involved in the early rounds of it, universities in the state of Washington have been offering online courses, which tend to be basically bulletin board kinds of discussion, discussion forums and email. But some of them go certainly go further than that. But that's been well developed over 20 years now. So the MOOC piece of it is certainly the acronym is newer, but there's been a fair amount of discovery that you can get a serious amount of traction and a serious amount of reach using the web. And if something is asynchronous, where you can watch and participate in your time zone on your schedule, then as opposed to something that is set at a specific time, where if you happen to be 12 hours off that time zone, the time zone just may simply not work for you. So that's one of the key arguments in favor of something that is asynchronous, as distinct from show up at a specific time for.
And they can be confusing. In our case, actually, Brit back, the clock's back last night. Oh.
Right.
Really?
That's the problem. You're in a time warp.
Sorry,
I missed that. Okay. The time change.
I just intervened there and suddenly realised Tara was still talking. So I think we really have. I don't know whether it's the gremlins or the gremlins of Skype or what. So
Skype
all they're
is
just
demented.
Halloween.
Yeah, Skype is demented today.
The Halloween thing, the Halloween thing is crawling into the interwebs and corrupting our sound. Britain put its clocks back by 1 hour today, so in fact the show went live in the UK at 7 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. And little things like that tend to be confusing, because in America it's still the same time as over here. People are probably tuning in now because it's actually only just gone start time. if they forgot to put their clocks back, it's very strange. Also, they may not be tuning in at all. Actually, they're probably busy battening down their hatches because Britain is getting a hurricane force thing.
Oh no!
Yep,
it's but in a couple of hours' time, it will be coming in at peak and lasting much of tomorrow. 80 plus mile an hour.
Ow.
Well, it's not British weather actually, and it's for 2 days running. The headline news on the news channels, has been
all about the hurricane.
Prepare for the storm. It's major.
Name? Is it like Hurricane Mabel or?
No, they aren't naming it a hurricane, and it appears like it did not form as a tropical windstorm. It formed extratropical. So it is not a hurricane, but it is a windstorm. And what I saw in an article was that they're calling it the St. Jude storm because tomorrow is St. Jude's patron Saint Day.
Okay.
And St. Jude is the patron saint of lost causes. So it could become known as the patron saint of lost garbage cans.
Oh boy.
Appropriate. Yeah, it's going to be a wet storm as well as a windstorm. So wet, rain pouring down and winds blowing at 80 miles an hour does sound like a sight to be seen, but not to be open the window or experience in any way. But what was it you were? But in Britain, we have the famous. It's known as the Great Storm of '87, I believe it was. Although Tara had informed me earlier that there was another one in the '90s, and it was called what was it called?
The Burns Day storm.
Yeah. Well, Burns Day, of course, is a celebration of the Scottish poet Robert Burns, and actually has nothing to do with me. But
Hey.
But the Burns Day storm.
I think you can claim that.
Ring to it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know what date that would have been. I can't remember the.
Well, I can tell you it was January 25th because Robert Burns' birthday is my birthday too.
Oh,
So.
okay.
Ah.
There it is. Two great
Oh,
journalists.
it's just 25 days too late for me to claim it, but never mind. Never mind. Interesting stuff. Yeah, this is. I don't know whether this is global warming sort of stuff or whatever, but whatever it is we're about to get, it is actually it's quite. This must be the lull before the storm because it was getting quite mad earlier, but it's quite quiet now. So whatever's coming is rather untypical, shall I say, for us. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I can't think what else we've got to discuss except for Halloween. What are we all doing for Halloween?
Go ahead, Tara.
Well, you mean in Second Life or in the RLSim?
Either one.
Well, in the RLSim where I live, in my little rural community thing here, we only have year-round 2 or 3 kids who are in my general vicinity, and I have not had any trick-or-treaters for several years. So, of course, I also don't. I tend to leave my porch light off. So if there are any hitting across the road or whatever, they probably don't see anything that looks like somebody home at my house.
Well, I've lived on my street for over 20 years. There are no sidewalks, and there never have been any real children here. So consequently, I haven't had Halloween visitors for many, many years. It's a shame, but it's good too, because then I can go somewhere else and see them. It gets me out, gets me off the computer for 20 minutes or half an hour.
Well, the other thing I know that has happened a lot, I think, in the States is the kind of the tendency to have events at malls and
Yes.
just store areas,
House parties.
for kids to go, and
it's safer.
It's safer and can be done at not necessarily after dark. Of course, the after dark thing is, kind of gets away from the whole.
Yeah.
Certainly my fond memories of trick or treating as a young kid, but
I know, same here. Yep, I know what you mean.
It's very funny for me, I mean, I remember, there was the movie Halloween, and I'm familiar with Halloween, really in the context of American movies and the
that's a
culture I
shame.
picked up. And until probably 20 years ago or something, I might have the dates wrong. Halloween was really not celebrated here. The odd pub would have a Halloween night, as a novelty. But now it has become absolutely huge. I mean, I don't know whether this is American culture slipping into the UK as it tends to do over time. But a month ago, going down to a local supermarket, it was Halloweenized. It was selling all the witches' hats and things for the kids to wear, and it's suddenly become a very, very big thing. And it's sort of odd because, as I say, a few decades ago, and most people have in Britain would say, Halloween? What's that? When's that? It's also, of course, bare days before the famous Guy Fawkes night, or the bonfire night that we celebrate on November the 5th here, which everybody lets up fireworks and burns effigies of a guy called Guy Fawkes, who was a chap. Well, it's not a celebration because he actually tried to blow up Parliament and was then tortured and exhibited or whatever. But
Well,
it's the celebration. The celebration is the foiling of the gunpowder plot, as it was called, rather than celebrating the guy who tried to do it, which is very odd when it's called Guy Fawkes Night. V is very interesting, isn't it?
That was a very intense movie, yeah.
I know that was actually a graphic novel, and I'm very familiar with the creators of that. It was they actually wrote it back in the 70s,
Really?
late 70s.
Oh, that's cool.
I think actually, I'm trying to remember. It was David who drew it. Anyway, but that symbolism, of course, has recently been adopted by the Occupy movement. So it went to becoming a movie, which I gather they weren't altogether happy with, to the symbolism in the movie that came from the comic being adopted by the Occupy movement. So we've got all these people wandering around with their V for Vendetta masks over them.
Charming.
So that's quite. It was quite a legacy, actually. I mean, the guys behind it must be quite chuffed that after all this time, it's not only been made into a movie, but it's also been adopted in one part of culture, so to speak.
Well,
Fascinating.
It really was, just from my standpoint, with almost no background. I mean, just letting it stand by itself, it makes me wonder. So
Yeah.
yeah, they should
Now,
do
of course,
in
the bit
Second Life.
talking of things that really aren't particularly virtual at all. Actually, the big news, certainly in the UK here this week, is we have a rather serious news program hosted for the most part by a guy called Jeremy Paxman, who I think is great, but he is very entrenched in parliamentary democracy and the monarchy and things. But he's a very really incisive interviewer, and
Hmm.
he has you can get on television. That show it's a serious show where he can, got an interviewer who can genuinely extract information or put people on the spot. I mean, some people just won't go on tonight because they're scared shitless. So tell me, Patsy,
One of
to
those.
get out what it.
If only I
And
knew what Mel was
yes,
saying.
yes, and alas, there goes Skype
sort of-
again. We didn't hear any of that, Mel.
Oh dear. Okay, I'll tell you what. You two drop, and I'm just going to ask to play stuff.
You're
for
the
a
only one we
second.
can't hear. But okay. Talk to you later.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I have now taken over the hosting of this call again, which is actually the way it started. So we will see where anybody. Are you there, Tara?
I'm here, yes.
And are you there, Pet?
I am here, yes.
Ah, right. Well, maybe we'll get somewhere. I think we're nearing the end of this show today. It's going to be one of those short-lived things, I think, anyway, with all these audio problems besetting us as well. Yes, there is a comedian, Russell Brand, I think his name is in the UK, who, if you did hear me before we had that glitch, I was talking about a guy called Jeremy Paxman hosting a show called Newsnight in the UK, very incisive. Interviewer, but he had an encounter with this popular comedian on the show last week, and had actually taken over the newspaper, the New Statesman, for a week. It was an editorial about how revolution is coming, and so a lot of it reflecting on the way people behave now, the way capitalism is failing them, and the way they operate online as opposed to traditional ways. And I don't know how much you two read the blogs, but this has got a lot of traction way outside the UK. Will Burns, for example, is posting a whole lot of stuff on it. He seems to have upset some people. He seems to have got a lot of people agreeing with him, and another load of people in the middle who are totally nonplussed because they're sleeping through the changes, And it's really quite significant. I actually do put a lot of weight by the sort of things he was saying. The only sad thing was that he was predicting, he's on the crest of the wave here. He's pretty, he's getting a lot of mileage out of this, and he's a pretty wealthy guy. But he was sort of predicting a sort of downfall of capitalism as we know it today. And the only thing that was sad was that he didn't have any solutions. He was very much analysing what was happening without actually offering alternatives. But did any of you come across this debate at all?
I have not, but
I saw some postings. Yeah, I saw some postings about it, and I have not had a chance to follow back through and see what all the interest was.
It's an odd time, This is somebody who's come from where he's got a very suspect history. This guy, anyway, as it's a dark side of rock and roll history, I think, if nothing else. But he's grown up and he's intelligent. But he's not one of these people who've been involved with virtual world or anything like that. But he sees the changes from the way we interact online, and people use Facebooks and Twitter. And the other chap is oh God, what's his first name? Byrne from the Talking Heads. It's not John Byrne. He's not David Byrne. That's it. Yeah, David Byrne has been online a lot recently. He came on about how the internet is destroying the music industry, but he's now spouting off about how it's destroying the culture of New York City.
Well, you see, it's called technology and evolution, and people don't like change.
Yeah, it's
different.
It's just
doesn't mean it's evil.
No. It's odd. I've always liked David Byrne and the Talking Heads for that matter, but this it does seem to me. I mean, he's grey-haired now and everything. Well, we'll get that way, but it feels like he's turned very reactionary.
Sometimes people become very convinced that their viewpoint is just cannot be argued with. So that's interesting. He's still a great talent.
Yeah, I think it just feels that creativity has been hampered.
And that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, it's certain. Yeah, the I think the whole issue of creative output, i.e., content, as we tend to call it on the web, and intellectual property. As in the microcosm of Second Life, of course, is exemplified by this TOS discussion. But the whole intellectual property ownership and copyright and getting paid for one's original work is a huge issue.
If everybody were honest, it wouldn't be an issue. I made it; it's mine. You made that; that's yours. If there's any money, well, whatever, or if people work together. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it is.
If you consider all the places and the systems that have, it is complicated.
Yeah,
it is complicated.
There are so many people. Like you said.
Yeah. Well, and you consider the many systems that exist that are ostensibly to help the creators in one way or another. I'm thinking of around the music industry, you've got all the licensing related stuff, and how that is supposed to work. It works if you're a big name and you make and you have a hit, but if you have little stuff, it doesn't work. Things like broadcast royalties, INS, and all those. But all of these questions are ones that are far from resolved, and I don't think will be for some time.
I think David Byrne misses an issue. Well, no, he did address it, but undoubtedly the internet has changed the whole landscape for sort of new bands, small bands. People can break easy. They can they can get into the industry a lot easier. It's a question of once they've broken and they've got in, they can't pursue the same avenues to actually make money. It becomes PR, but the difficulty is how do they keep making money out of their creativity. But there's a greater issue here too. I mean, exemplified by Linden Labs terms of service debate, of course, but the way people like Facebook and the Twitters, LinkedIn's of this world are professing to own content on a platform. It's they can keep everything in perpetuity. They can know everything about you. It's all becomes big data, and it's a trade-off when you post to Facebook. That huge filtering engine and that data sifting is something you're signing up for in return for the facilities it offers.
The government should hire them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that not in younger people in the internet age.
That's what's going on. It's NSA filtering half of what Mel's trying to say.
I think when we make a lot of noise, then he goes out.
Here,
See?
It's yeah. I get swamped out by. I'm having great difficulty.
I'm going to go on mute so you can talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just getting two parts of the conversation coming in at once at different times. It's very, very peculiar. I hope listeners are not having too much of the same problem. If you are, I do apologise. We don't know what's causing it. We don't get it normally. But yes, Russell, yes. We have Lapiskin in the chat room today at the channel. And he's commenting on seeing the interview with Russell Brand. It's also something else here. I'm just scrolling back as we're talking because candy, more candy. Something has been mentioned here, and oh yes, actually, if you don't know the interview we're talking about, you can actually watch it. According to Lepeskin, it's at Lepeskin. It's at http://Gawker, that's GAWKER.com/Russell-brand-made-have started-a evolution last.
Mal?
I'd just go to Gawker.com. You'll probably find
Go to Gawker.com and type in Russell Brand. Search for Russell Brand and you'll find it.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a heck of a lot easier than following what I just said. Anyway, yes, thanks for that laugh. It's the classic interview. I think you might say two very contrasting personalities up against you. You'll get amusement out of that. Right. Well, I'm beginning to think we should wrap the show. Got plenty of stuff coming up on the film, and clearly with all these audio problems and everything else, we're just going to be getting more stressed out trying to fight the gremlins or the gremlins or the other Halloween bugs.
Perfect for a Halloween show, the haunted Halloween show.
Yeah, exactly. There is ghostly beings in the works here, and they may be GCHQ and they may be NSA, but I suspect they could even be hurricanes. Maybe Britain's communication has already been blown to smithereens by whatever's happening on our western shores at this moment.
That's a possibility.
And maybe they're cutting down circuits and things. They cancelled, all the trains have been cancelled, all the motorways have been. People have been told to get off the road, and who knows what they're going to do to our cables. They are expecting trees down, structural damage, and possibly our pipes will be
that's a shame.
affected. So who knows? Rather good that we're doing this show before the the thing hits.
Hopefully it won't be as bad as what they're suggesting. I wish you all the best of luck. My gosh.
I should go back to the great storm of 1987. There was a weather forecaster here, and as weather forecasters are on national television, they are household names, and this chap's name is Michael Fish. Mm-hmm. And in 1987, he delivered the weather forecast, and there was it was just a normal weather forecast, nothing untoward at all. And somebody there actually ring in to say, is there any truth there's a hurricane coming? And he actually went on there and said, don't talk rubbish, there's no hurricane coming here. And of course, everybody woke up the next morning to find Hyde Park was flattened.
Oh my.
Trees left, everything else. And for some reason, I think they're err on the side of caution ever since then. If there is any hint, they actually let you know.
Oh, God. Well, I guess it wasn't funny.
As opposed to legendary the way around. Anyway.
Standards again.
we will see what we will see. Okay, let's start calling it a wrap. Anything else on Halloween before we go?
Nope.
Any exciting events happening Halloween-wise?
Just 40 million parties.
No, but there's certainly there's some things to be done in Inworld, certainly. And
Indeed.
some great bills if you like the spooky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually quite loads of Halloween stuff that I've tended to res, but I can't find anywhere big enough. Well, prim counts. I can't find
Put it
anywhere to
out
res
there.
the stuff.
People
Actually,
can
I
look.
could probably,
Mm-hmm. Go
I
ahead.
was just
Sorry.
say I could probably have got away with something here for the few hours we're on, but never mind.
We had lots of stuff here actually, thanks to Tara. That's a great cauldron.
Mhm.
Um,
Maybe we'll do something early in the week, and maybe even film a bit on Thursday or something to go with the live playlist. I don't know. We'll think about it. We won't promise anything.
maybe we could we could stream going on a Halloween hunt. You know, there are lots of Halloween hunts.
Yeah.
They're fun, and they're all on
That's
Happy
assuming the
Hunting.
audio decides to.
One thing we haven't done this year, for those of you in World here, at Chilbo, we normally decorate their town hall and the whole area very near the studio here for Halloween, and we haven't actually done it this year. So my graveyard and my rising zombie, and it's all gone to no avail this year so far. But I'll find somewhere to put it during the coming days, if only to look at it again. Right, anything else on the radar, Petlove?
Nope.
We
We've
covered things. No.
just Nicole X has a new epic starting. We will be seeing that soon
Yeah.
at a theater near you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That's
I've had
my
lots
last
of,
news.
I think we have a couple of Nicole clips or one coming up later, but
Good.
I get I get about 20 a day or something.
I'm sure.
It's
I'm sure.
show all of them.
There have been a couple out lately that have been short and really pretty, I think. I just think they're really pretty. I don't know what kind of filter she uses, but they come out really different and cool to look
Oh,
at.
I think it's into this.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, discovering Fellini.
The trailer?
I think for that song coming up on the playlist. Yeah,
Good,
I think
good.
the trailer's in our mission section, so that'd be good.
Good.
Okay, Tara, closing thoughts.
Enjoy your week. Stay dry. Don't get blown away. If you're having
Please.
storms. See you next week.
And,
That's it for me.
and try not to get spooked.
Or
I did.
try to.
I have a Grim Reaper avatar now. The ladies here know it. Petlove saw me morph into it the other day, and Tara, of course, was missing it when I wore it last night. But I was idly after Mankind Tracer concert we did last night. So I was sort of idly hanging around. I wasn't actually watching my screen, but I could hear the DJ on the stream who's got this Scottish guy, and then suddenly he was welcoming various people around, and then suddenly he said, "And Mal, and Mal, you're scaring even me." Scottish, blah blah blah. So that was me in a Grim Reaper avatar doing a woman's dance with a scythe in my hand that was flapping around everywhere and looked like it was about to chop everybody's head up. Yeah, don't get spooked. Don't get spooked. Oh, all the fun of the fair, eh? Okay, well, thanks everybody for watching. Slightly shorter and more boring show than usual.
No,
Nah,
no, I
nah,
don't think
it was
so.
interesting.
No.
Interesting enough, just somewhat limited. We will be back same time next week, hopefully with a bigger panel again. And anybody who hasn't had their head chopped off will succumb to gowls or become a zombie or whatever. And as I said, we're going to be with you on Thursday night this week too, one way or another. Whether it's just going to be the playlist or whether we'll be going live in the middle of it, it's up in the air at the moment. But do check us out on this channel on Thursday evening, or may even be afternoon American time. And we've already been just called Immersive Halloween, that would be fun. Let's midweek. So thanks everybody for watching. I did mean to mention those of you who joined the show at noon and are continuing to watch it now. In other words, you're not watching a replay, you're watching us live. We've slightly altered the way we're doing things on the channel at live stream now, because the focus of the live show is really this part, the Inworld review. Metaverse Week in Review is now done as an actual playlist, and what we did is at midday we started the playlist. We then went live for this show, and when this show closes in a second, you'll see that the live button goes out. In other words, we're not live anymore. We're back to the playlist. In fact, we are live. If you want to say anything in chat or whatever, it's just an easier way for us to do things, because it stops me having to cue little clips every 10 seconds, basically. So all I actually have to do when we wrap up here is press a little button on the channel saying resume, and you'll get a resume from where we left off before we came on air. So with that little anecdote, we'll leave you for this week, and we'll see you again this time next week. Thanks as always to Tara and to Petlove for being here, and it's a wrap.